And joining me now is Democratic Senator Andy Kim of New Jersey. Senator Kim, welcome to Meet the Press.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to start with USAID. You just heard my conversation with Colonel Waltz about it. You actually started your career in public service at USAID. If you zoom out and look at the recent polling, it shows that 6 in 10 Americans actually support cuts to foreign aid. President Donald Trump says this is exactly what he campaigned on. How do you respond to that argument by President Trump, by Colonel Waltz, that this is what the American people voted for?
Well, when you look at the polling that's out there, the American people actually see diplomacy and development as critical to our foreign policy. Over 80% of Americans would agree that strong diplomacy and development is essential in pairing with our military. We have 3 pillars when it comes to our foreign policy. We have defense, diplomacy, and development. And each of those plays an integral role. And I hope the American people see that USAID, this is not charity. This is about our national security. And in fact, someone who said that exact line is Marco Rubio when he was a senator. There's a reason why USAID is at the Ronald Reagan building, is because Ronald Reagan was a strong supporter of this. What we're seeing right now with the Trump administration over the last week is just very clearly an American retreat when it comes to the rest of the world. Handing this over, like China doesn't even need to fight for their influence around the world now because of our own effort. We're doing China's work for them. And I hope that the American people understand just how dire a situation this is going to be, something that makes it more likely that we see conflicts, may have to use our own troops. And also, this is something that affects our ability to be able to access other markets, to grow our economy. So this has very tangible impacts, and this is going to be devastating to our nation's national security.
Let me ask you about some of the questions that have also been raised about this agency. According to the Inspector General of the agency, there have been significant shortcomings in transparency and vetting organizations that USAID works with, as well as limitations in obtaining data about agencies that partner with USAID. Should USAID have addressed some of these concerns sooner?
And these are the types of efforts that should be ongoing. I've worked in 4 different departments and agencies. I've seen challenges and concerns across the board, certainly more that we can do to make things efficient, make things more effective. But when you hear, National Security Advisor Waltz just now, he tries to use words like realignment, whereas what they're doing is dismantling. There is a more effective approach in going through USAID and trying to figure out, what are the types of actions that we support, what are ones that maybe we stop or we fix. But instead, what they did is just demonize. This wasn't about efficiency. The way that they demonized, the way that Musk talked about it as a criminal organization and basically said the public servants there are tantamount to that kind of criminal operation is just wrong and frankly insulting. And, for instance, Waltz talked about having a waiver for programs like PEPFAR. It's not true. I talked with people at USAID currently, and the payment system is shut down. There is no way to actually get food out there with PEPFAR, trying to support 20 million people on antiretroviral medication. I mean, we're talking about putting millions of lives at risk. And this is something where even if they say they will allow it to go forward, you don't have staff. You've cut the staff working in the continent of Africa down to about a dozen people. And that is something that is damaging. And one thing I'll just say on this front, just to hit it home for the American people, this is something where when we look at why it is that we want to engage in Africa, for instance, right now the continent of Africa is 1.5 billion people. That's going to go up to 2.5 billion in 25 years by the year 2050. That's half of the world's population growth in the continent of Africa over the next 25 years. I'm always a big fan of Wayne Gretzky saying, we skate to where the puck is going. This is about the workforce of the future, building that relationship. And China is now going around the world, saying that they're going to take over the programs that USAID has stopped. They're just, gleefully taking that leadership mantle, and we're giving it up.
It's interesting because some top Democrats are saying that now is a time to really be careful about choosing battles that you're going to engage in. David Axelrod this week said, quote, "My heart is with the people out on the street outside USAID, but my head tells me, man, Trump will be well satisfied to have this fight." Is he right, Senator?
No, he's not right, because what we know is that this is just the beginning. This is the playbook that they're going to run. And if the Trump administration gets away with this with USAID, they're going to move it on to the Department of Education. They're going to move it on to FEMA and other aspects of this. And we have to show that this is illegal. This is not an action that the executive can do on their own, and that this is something that the American people deserve greater clarity. I just had a one-on-one meeting with the nominee for Department of Education, Linda McMahon, and she told me that there are going to be very significant cuts of staff at Department of Education, transfer of staff to other departments. This is their plan.
I know that the battles are playing out in the court. They are also playing out in protests and rallies. Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate, held a news conference that was a lot like a rally outside of the Treasury Department to counter some of the actions by Elon Musk. Take a look.
I am going to stand with you in this fight, and we will win. We will win. We will win. We will win.
Are you satisfied with how your party is pushing back in this moment? Have Democrats found their footing?
Well, I want to make sure that the American people see it across the board in terms of all the different prongs of what's happening. There is the litigation side, legislation, the oversight, the communication, and I'll also add the mobilization that you saw there. When it comes to litigation, what we've seen so far, dozens of lawsuits. This is something that the senators, we had been in touch with the state's attorney general ever since November, talking about what comes next. And you see so far, right now, the state's attorney generals are 3 for 3 in terms of being able to move that forward. Now we're also proceeding with the legislation side. We have the continuing resolution. Basically, in a few weeks, the Republicans are going to try to figure out how they move forward. And they have, for the last 2 years, needed Democratic votes for every single continuing resolution, and they should not count on that this time around.
Okay, you take me to my next question, because your colleague Jeff Merkley basically said he's prepared to try to shut down the government over some of these sledgehammer actions that he's seeing by Elon Musk. Are you prepared to shut down the government, to join Democratic colleagues who want to stand in the way of keeping the government open?
Well, you have to look at what the Trump administration is doing right now. They are simply trying to dismantle the government. So yes, look, if we have to take steps to be able to hold them accountable, use the leverage that we have to force it, I cannot support efforts that will continue this lawlessness that we're seeing when it comes to this administration's actions. And for us to be able to support government funding in that way, only for them to turn it around to dismantle the government, that is not something that should be allowed.
So just to be clear, Senator, you are open to voting yes to shut down the government, to make this point.
This is on them. This is about whether or not they can get the votes. They are the majority. And if they cannot govern, then that's for the American people to see. But I've worked in government. I've worked through multiple government shutdowns. I would be the last person to want to get to that stage. But we are at a point where we are basically on the cusp of a constitutional crisis, seeing this administration taking steps that are so clearly illegal. And until we see a change in that behavior, we should not allow and condone that, nor should we assist in that.
Senator, of course, the other big news today is the Super Bowl. I know that you are an Eagles fan, as am I. Of course, the Chiefs have won the last 2 years. What do you think? Do you think the Eagles can pull it off?
Yeah, look, I'm just happy to be alive in the time of Saquon Barkley, that I get to share the planet with such an incredible man. So I just want to see him happy. I think he deserves it. I think the Eagles deserve it. So I can't wait to watch it with my kids.
That's great. Well, I'm glad you get to watch with your kids. Senator, thanks so much for being here. Hope you'll come back real soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.